Who's gay? Who's straight? Whose assistant is messy? Whose assistant is suspended? Todd got his old ex's condo ready for renovations by Kenya. And on top of all of that, it seems like Sanya is finally ready to get a little loose with the ladies. I have my episode 4 review of Real Housewives of Atlanta and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. Alright, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about. And it centers around episode, I want to say 4 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, kinfolk, let me tell you something. This season is a really good season. It's a solid cast with solid drama. If a person has any issues with this season, might I add, if you've been paying attention to the Real Housewives of Atlanta Twitterverse, not that many people have that many issues with the new season. But I will say this, if you sit down, if you watch it, and you allow yourself to just enjoy the programming and the content that the ladies are providing, you will see this is one of their best seasons ever. And so with that being said, I'm going to get into my review. Right off the bat, I want to see Kenya and Marlo work it out. And I just realized something, that Kenya and Marlo, with them both being Aquariuses, and as a fellow Aquarian, I can tell you right now, the reason why Kenya and Marlo are not able to make their friendship work is because of the natural rebellion that most Aquarians have. We have this innate urge to be rebellious. So if a friendship is going good, and if I'm doing something right in a friendship, then I probably might start doing things wrong in a friendship just to rebel against, the cohesiveness or the easiness of the friendship, just sometimes purely for entertainment purposes. So when I think about that, I'm like, you know what? That is the real reason why Kenya and Marlo simply can't get along. And also, in the reality TV world, I think both of them understand that they have a role and a responsibility on the show to either be the villain or the antithesis to the actual villain. And I think both ladies are very good at playing up those roles. The next thing, Kandi and Todd. So the scene opens up with Kandi and Todd walking through the neighborhood and taking a walk, and they're talking about their prospective careers and where they are in their marriage. And kinfolk, I think that this season, Kandi and Todd's interaction with one another is probably the most authentic interaction that we have seen from them as a married couple. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that their past storylines have been fake or unbelievable. I'm just saying I think this storyline seems a little bit more authentic. And it's the storyline that Todd, as we see throughout this episode, really feels as if Kandi does not have time for him in their marriage. And also, he feels that Kandi does not seem to be allowing him to live his life independently from her and not support him when he's doing things independently of her as well. And so he talked a lot about this with, when he was going to New York and, he's hanging out with his friends, and Kandi had an issue with that. And he made a very good point that, when I'm in Atlanta around your people all the time, I am fitting into your world. And when I come to New York, I want you to fit into my world the same way I do as for your family and friends in Atlanta. And, that's a very good point. And here's where Kandi can mess this up. I see Kandi messing this up the way Kenya kind of explained this to us. Kandi has always been the center of attention for her family because of her celebrity. And with celebrity comes a lot of the celebrity being spoiled. People waiting on the celebrity hand and foot. things and people tend to fix their schedule around a celebrity. And so they tend to accommodate the celebrity. And I think Kandi has gone through her entire life since, becoming a celebrity. And she's always come from a people accommodating her. And so when she's in her marriage, it's kind of hard for her to accommodate someone else. Not because she doesn't want to, only because when it comes down to the basic things and necessity of life, everyone has always accommodated her. And so she feels probably just unconsciously that, she shouldn't have to accommodate herself or change her life for anyone, including Todd, and Todd should always conform to her lifestyle. And I think if she continues that attitude, she's going to cause some major friction between her and Todd. The next thing, one thing I want to say is this, Manyetta Shaw is definitely needed with this group of girls. I don't know if I'm picking up just from the brunch. Even when she came in, even though she wasn't mic'd up or she wasn't a focal point, you can tell that she really meshes with these ladies very well. I mean, very seamlessly. Like, I was looking at Manyetta and I was like, I want to see some more of her because, you can tell fits in with this group of ladies very easily. And I think that she's going to bring a type of energy to the show that is going to be what I think Phaedra brought. However, I think she's going to be just a little bit more, I'm not going to say stable, but I think she's going to give us Phaedra, but an actual Southern Belle. And I think I get that a lot from her. I think she's an actual Southern Belle. Not saying Phaedra wasn't necessarily one, but when I look at the tradition of a Southern Belle, who she is and what she does, Manyetta just seems like she just fits that. And she's a modern day Southern Belle. So it's not a lot of that old school type of thinking. She brings a very modern perspective to it. And I just really want to see more of her interactions with the ladies. And this, another thing, Ralph and Drew, bruh. Ralph and Drew have some major issues in their relationship. And I think I know the problem is Ralph is an Aquarius and I am an Aquarius as well. And someone said on Twitter, that's just the way Aquarius men are. They're just weird like that. Now, I will admit we are a little weird, but I don't think I'm like Ralph when it comes to relationships and marriages. The thing about it is this. Aquarian men, and let me put this into perspective for you guys, so you guys can see where Ralph is coming from. Not saying he's right. Aquarian men, we are very forward thinking. We are very what's the word I'm looking for? Innovative in our thought. We like technology and advancements, which is kind of ironic because Ralph is in technology and securities. And so we are very forward thinking. We believe that women are to be independent and women can be leaders and things of that nature. However, this is going to sound very crazy. When it comes to us in our everyday lives and how we function with our families, or we have wives and we have like children, we become very traditional. It is the oddest thing. We are liberal thinking, liberal leaning in every aspect of our lives. But when it comes down to the key things like family and friendships and work, we are very traditional. And I think what the point of contingency between Ralph and Drew is this. Ralph wants Drew to be very submissive because a lot of Aquarian men, and I have been told this, even though I don't think it comes off as me trying to be dominant, is that I tend to want my spouse to be, or the person I'm seeing at the moment, to be very submissive. And I've been told it a lot from friends and also family members. However, it's not that. It's more so of everyone kind of taking a role, because we kind of believe that in a traditional sense of marriage, everybody can't be a chief. At some point, someone has to be an Indian. At some point, someone has to be the chief. Now, those roles can change, vice versa, but we do kind of believe that at any given moment, there should be a clear point to where you know who's the Indian at the moment, who's the chief. The reason why that doesn't work with Drew and Ralph is because Drew is very open-minded. She is very direct, and she's very vocal about her discontentment. So, for instance, when Ralph made the whole, when they were moving to their new house last season, I don't know if you remember this, Drew was mad because Ralph took on the reins and did everything without her. And this is what really Ralph was doing. Ralph was really taking on the responsibility at the time as being the chief operator of the move. He was doing everything that needed to be done so Drew didn't have to do it, so she can focus on the kids at the moment, focus on other things, and not have to worry about the bigger picture. Ralph thinking he's doing something nice. It turns out Drew read it as Ralph being controlling and not wanting her part of the process. And I see both sides of the equation and both sides of the argument. The problem with this whole thing is that I think Ralph really does take it to a whole different level, because at some point I don't think Ralph sees Drew as his equal, and that's what's the problem. And that's the problem. I don't see it as a problem with Ralph leading and making big decisions and things like that for the family in terms of like the foundational things. But I don't think Ralph sees Drew as his equal, and if he did, I feel like he could understand where she's coming from a lot of times. And I think he just outright doesn't see her as his equal, which makes it to a point to where he doesn't see, in his mind blocks a lot of what she's saying. And that's a problem. And another problem I think that they both have is that Ralph and Drew, they have to, and I say they have to get a new therapist, because Dr. Ken ain't it. And here's why Dr. Ken isn't it. When Ralph told Drew that Dr. Ken said you have a tendency, I think it was, to pick fights or something like that, or something he said. Then Drew said, "Oh, that's funny, because Dr. Ken told me he thinks you're a maniac." And I'm looking, and when she said that, I'm thinking to myself, hold on now, what? So, I think the job of a therapist is to assess a situation and give two individuals, if it's couple therapy, just some options on some ways he thinks that'll best benefit them moving forward. And when he called Ralph a maniac, I kind of felt like that was very judgmental, and I kind of felt like, I'm not a therapist. I don't go to couples therapy. It's only just me and my therapist, so she doesn't have anybody to talk to that's in my household about me and my issues. But I just kind of feel like if you're going to tell my wife that I'm a maniac, then you have pretty much said in your mind that I am beyond help and that my wife needs to watch out for me. Because I know some of you guys may think that, and I will be honest with you, Ralph does portray some manic, narcissistic attitudes, but to call him an outright maniac, I think that was just very unprofessional and kind of dangerous to their relationship. It's almost like calling your spouse a serial manipulator or abuser or something that you have to watch out for. And so I think that was very unprofessional of him. But I do think that it should always be about, when you're in couples therapy, okay, he's like this, she's like this, and this is what I think and the reasons why he or she is like this. And let's move on from there and try to figure out how we can work to resolve those issues by meeting each other where they are. Now, I'm not a therapist, but I just feel like that's how it should be done in couples therapy, and Dr. Kennedy just went all over the place with it. Next, I'm just going in order in which I have everyone on screen. Sanya. Oh, Miss Sanya. I think I like Sanya. I do. I like Sanya for two reasons. Sanya is direct, which I do love. She's open and she's honest, which I do love as well. I do think that once Sanya gets a little bit more comfortable with the ladies, she is going to be a problem. Sanya is going to be a problem. Sanya is the official BS reader. She can read people very well. And we're going to see a lot of that, I think, next episode when she starts to kind of fall out with Drew. And she is a BS reader to the likes I have not seen before on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I think Kenya is a good BS reader. However, Kenya played the villain for so long, people never really took to what she was saying to heart. But I think with Sanya, she's kind of a group favorite. So I think that when she calls BS, a lot of the ladies are going to take notice and respect what she has to say. Sanya is low-key funny too. Sanya is low-key funny. Last episode when she was at the tea party for Brooklyn and her son was acting up. Sam was like, "You want me to call your daddy? You want me to call your daddy? I'm finna call your daddy. I'm finna call your daddy." And I see why Sanya probably doesn't want or what Sanya doesn't want any more kids, because her little son is a handful. And she was like, "Do you want me to call your daddy?" And I feel like if those cameras weren't there, she probably would have said something else. So she's kind of like low key funny when she's with her kids. I think I want to see more interaction of Sanya with her kids, because I think that is going to be hilarious content. You want me to call your daddy? You want me to call your daddy? Because she probably want to say, if these cameras weren't here, you know what it went down. But other than that, let's move on. Marlo and Kenya. I want to say this. Marlo and Kenya, they have, I think, a genuine ability to be friends. It's almost like a big sister, little sister friendship, a real big sister, little sister friendship. Because I don't know if you noticed, when they were on the bus on the way to dinner or to go see Todd's condo, Marlo was asleep on Kenya's shoulder, and I thought that was so endearing and so sweet. And it shows you how really comfortable Marlo is with Kenya, and how Kenya is very comfortable with Marlo. It's like they bicker and argue like sisters. I mean, to the death. They are like arguing and they're fussing, they're fighting, always in each other's face. But it is something about them that at the end of the day, they feel so comfortable with each other that she can lay her head on Kenya's shoulder and go to sleep. And I think that speaks to their connections as both as Aquarian women. And at the same time, I still do think that they're smart and they understand that they do have to play up a role. So when they do have falling outs, they might be having a falling out, but they know when they're in front of the camera, that falling out may be a 5, but they have to take it to a 10 for effect. And I really hate that they just can't get it together and on one accord. The next thing, about Todd and this condo, everyone made Kandi seem like she's the problem. And I think Kandi in this particular situation is the problem, because everything Todd said was valid. Everything the other lady said was valid. And then again, you got to be in the wrong when Marlo was like, made really good sense. And I mean, I think Marlo and Kenya and Sanya all had something to say about the situation. But I think Marlo, boom, she hit it on the head. It was like she said something, and it can be a dig at Kandi and her ego, but I think that when she said that Kandi does not like the fact that Todd accomplished something without her. Now that was a little rude, a little mean-spirited, but it kind of made a little sense a little bit, to where it seems like, Todd did something with this other woman, and Kandi is so used to her and Todd being able to do things together that she's kind of jealous the fact that Todd actually did something with another woman and he was able to get this condo and da-da-da this. And I think Kandi feels a little certain type of way about that. And I think Marlo just really hit the nail on the head, that Kandi does not want to be associated with anything that Todd did with another woman. Which, if you are married, I mean, that's not an unvalid way to think, in my opinion. And I think that what Kandi says, that she doesn't want to be tied to anything that Todd's former wife or girlfriend had, I think it's a very valid point. But I think Marlo kind of pinged it on the head that Kandi does not want to be associated with anything that Todd and his other girlfriend accomplished together, because I think she wants her and Todd to be that power couple force that we all know and love. At some point, I do believe this, Kandi and Ralph, at some point, Kandi and Ralph are going to bump heads and they're going to have a major blow up. I don't know what it's going to be about. I'm not sure when it's going to be, but at some point, if not this season, the next, Ralph and Kandi are going to just bump heads a little bit. It ain't gonna be it's gonna be a bump head a little bit. It's gonna be a clash of titans. And the reason why I say this is because you have two individuals who are very strong-minded, and two individuals who are bosses in their own perspective. So they're used to speaking their mind and challenging what's being said and challenging authority, because that type of confidence comes with people who are businesswomen and businessmen and own their own things. And, I see them kind of bumping heads a little bit. Another thing that I think, it was kind of odd about this whole situation. I'm about to wrap this up. Is that between Raph and Drew, I found it very odd that Drew did not fire the assistant after she made that. Did not tell Raph what the assistant said about him, because the way this episode was spaced out, it seems as if Drew did not tell Ralph. Ralph was hearing the first time that Drew's assistant said he was gay. And before they left for the trip, the assistant was all in the house and doing everything and around Ralph. And then at the brunch, if I'm not mistaken, Drew said the assistant was on probation. I was thinking because of the rumors that he had started about Ralph, but it could be for him going back and telling Sheree's business to her. But nevertheless, I found it very odd that it seemed as if at the dinner table was the first time that Ralph heard that Drew's assistant had called him gay. And then other than that, kinfolk, I just really do think this is a good season. Again, I am watching every episode. I can definitely tell that these new producers had some type of work, did work with the Real Housewives of Potomac, because I like the little edits in between, the little instant fact checking and receipts and everything, especially when Drew in the wedding ring. I love the little instant fact checking. But kinfolk, this is turning out to be a very fun, organic season. All the drama really does seem organic. It really does seem natural. And I really do believe this is going to turn out to be probably one of the better seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, I'm trying to wrap it up because this is one of my longer videos, but this really was a good episode. But if you love this video, as always, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys over on the next one. Peace.